Afreximbank TV.
Welcome to the Bahamas, welcome to Afreximbank TV, welcome to the Afreximbank annual meetings, and welcome to Global Africa. So as a group CEO of a bank, or the CEO of a bank, what does Global Africa mean to you?
Thank you, Omar, and thank you for the invitation. I think where we start from is that Global Africa really depends on having strong local development banks and working closely in collaboration, not just with our national governments, but also ensuring that we work closely with multilaterals such as Afreximbank, and the work that they're doing is all part of that essential collaboration to break down the silos, to ensure that we have interoperability across African countries. And that's so important for both national development and African development.
Ghana has a strong history in Pan-Africanism, in the global Africa as a concept, as a mindset, and 2 years ago was the year of return as well, whereby Ghana opened itself up to the diaspora. So how important has that been in terms of the minds of Ghanaians in thinking globally as a global continent?
I think Ghanaians have always thought globally, and in terms of thought leadership, in many ways, Ghana, together with some of the other multilateral organizations, such as Afreximbank, have really been working hard to ensure that we're collaborating across all the different regions. So when you talk about the diaspora, I think Ghana, the example with the year of the return and then the follow-up, showed how strong the feeling is for Africans both in Ghana, in Africa, and across the world to really come together. And what's incumbent on institutions such as ourselves, such as Afreximbank, is to help bring that collaboration together in a way that allows us to speak a common language. And to do that, we're really going to need to think about doing stuff new ways, right? Thinking about the use of AI, thinking about how we bring data together. Because a lot of the issues that we have are predicated on the fact that we don't have a common nomenclature. And even in Ghana, we see that today. Banks have a completely different language from the SMEs. The SMEs have a completely different language from the national governments. And why is that? Well, we all have the same goal, which is to build a thriving economy. We all have the same goal to grow wealth and to grow jobs. But the language is different. And the way we cut across that is really by banks such as ourselves taking the role of super conveners, bringing them together and bringing dialogues such as this to be able for people to begin to understand each other, break the silos, because we all have the same goal.
So I believe that the president of the Afreximbank said that development without capital is like a car without fuel. It can't go anywhere. So you're a relatively new institution. So can you tell us a little bit about your institution and how you are being empowered to play that development role to catalyze growth and catalyze investment?
Now, I completely agree with Prof. But I think, as always, these issues are complex. And it's not the role of a development bank to be able to solve the deficit. And that's a very important distinction. Because when we talk about the deficit, we then assume that that's the responsibility of the multilateral banks, the development banks, the government. And I give you one example. Our role is as a catalyst and a convener. There is no way we by ourselves can ever address the deficits in Ghana, let alone the rest of Africa. But by being the catalyst, by putting our money first, by taking the first loss, by bringing in tools to de-risk the environment, we then crowd in the other banking sector. And so that's why it's really important that development banks going forward are wholesale banks, not just in terms of preventing political capture, but in terms of ensuring that they are forced to work with the whole banking sector. So we are leveraging our impact 2 times, 4 times, 5 times by working with the banking sector and realizing that profit is actually a noble cause. Because the only way to bring sustainable prosperity is to really embrace that paradigm. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. The sustainability is linked to profit. If you're not profitable, then the initiative won't be sustainable. But ultimately, in terms of your own bank, I mean, do you feel that you're sufficiently capitalized, or are you looking at new ways to crowd in more capital so that you can leverage that balance sheet even further?
Absolutely, absolutely. So are we capitalized enough? I don't think any bank in Africa is capitalized enough. But you also have to remember that we were set up about 3 years ago. And then within six months to a year, there was a currency depreciation. As you know, Ghana's gone through difficult times, which basically made the need for replenishment to be sooner rather than later. But what's important about that is it's not so much the lack of capital, it's the willingness of capital to come to Africa. And one of the things that we focus on is trying to be the most efficient and the most effective partner for our development partners to prosecute their agenda in the country. So by ensuring we're efficient, by ensuring we're effective, and that we bring in impact, what we've seen already is that development partners, KfW being a great example, World Bank, European EIB, continuing to support us, continuing to give us initiatives. And so today, I think that Development Bank Ghana, as an institution, has received the most funds from KfW as a single entity. And that's just a testament to the fact that we want to be as efficient, as effective as possible.
Okay, congratulations. And lastly, in terms of the global Africa concept and reality, ultimately, what is the role of a bank such as yours?
The role of a bank such as ours is critical in terms of what we term interoperability. And this is something that Afreximbank has led for many years. But interoperability, as we understand it, is not just payments. Interoperability is basically breaking down silos and allowing the free movement of money, payments, people, having a visa-free. Because when you do that, you do something really radical. You bring the power back to the people. And for me, that is the most effective way of ensuring good governance and ensuring profitability. Yeah.
Thank you for being on Afreximbank TV. It's been a pleasure to have you.
Thank you. My pleasure.
Thank you.
Cheers.